redo everything. So thank you.
Sam is actually part of Amherst.
That's true.
Top security. So, there's people on the line, just so everybody knows, there's a bunch of people on the line. I guess April from CPC Plus sent out the invite to people that she works with and for also sites that are not involved. So, I guess we're popular, so again, job security. So today we're going to talk about alternative type visits. And to start out, I just wanted to go through the 3 payments that you get from CPC Plus. And the reason I want to do this is because I know there's a lot of people that don't understand it. Even though we've gone through it a bunch of times, people say stuff to me and I'm just like, that's not right. And when you report out this third quarter, you have to report out what you want for your CPC Plus, your CPCP payment. And I want everyone to understand what you're picking, because that's going to affect how much money you get and how you're getting it. So just really quick, the 3 payments that you get is your care management fee, your performance-based incentive payment, and then if you're in track 2, you also get a hybrid payment. If you're in track 1, that third payment is just your fee for service. When you submit to Medicare, you're just going to get paid like you normally would. But if you're in track 1, you have to make a choice of how you want to get paid.
Track 2,
So,
you mean?
Pardon?
Track 2, you want to
Right.
choose.
Sorry.
Yeah, you just said track 1,
Yeah.
so track 2.
Track 2, you want to choose. Okay. So, some of the slides I'm going to read and some I'm going to go talk, not reading them. So, first is your care management fee. What is this? This is an enhanced non-based payment meant to augment your staff and training to support population health management and care coordination. This payment is risk adjusted and it's paid quarterly. So if you're in track 1, there's 4 risk levels. If you're in track 2, there's 5. So, according to your risk level, you're at, it's going to depend on how much money you're going to take. So if you're in track 2, you're high risk level 5, that's $100 per member per month you're going to get. Compared to like level 4, which is $33, that's a big jump. So you're going to want to make sure you're doing all your coding and submitting all your claims, your patients' risk levels are right, you're getting the right amount for the patients. Like I said, so this is paid quarterly. If you're in track 1, the average PM is probably about $10,000. This is what CPC Plus says. And then if you're in track 2, your average PM is about $28,000. So that's your first payment. Morning, you guys. Thanks for coming. The second payment you get is your performance-based incentive. Okay, and this one is the tricky one. This is meant to focus your practice's attention on patient experience, your quality, and utilization. So this payment is prospectively paid the first quarter, and then at the end of the year, if you don't meet the annual thresholds, you may have to pay back a portion or all of it. So that's important. So this pot of money you're going to get at the beginning of the year, and you're going to be able to use it, but at the end of the year, if you don't meet the thresholds, you're going to have to pay some back. So just to break that down a little bit, so it goes on quality and utilization. So if you're in track 1, the most you can get per member per month is $2.50. So you get $1.25 for quality and $1.25 for utilization. If you're in track 2, the most you can get is $4 per member per month. So it's $2 for quality and $2 for utilization. So they break up quality, that is by your ECQMs and your CAP survey. And just so you guys know, so the quality measures is 75% of that payment, and then the CAP surveys is 25%. And then for utilization, that goes by your admissions and your ED visits. Admissions is 67% of the payment, and ED visits is 33% of the payment. So you guys know how it's weighted. And then finally, the third payment, and this is the one I want everybody to understand if you're in track 2. This is your hybrid payment. So this is your CPCP payment, plus a reduced fee for service. CPCP stands for Comprehensive Primary Care Payment. So if you're in track 2, you're going to receive a payment percentage of your expected Medicare E&M payment up front in the form of your CP. Then when you bill, you're going to get a reduced rate of what you normally would have gotten when you bill. If you're in track 1, you're just going to bill and you're going to get paid what you always got paid. So this comprehensive primary care payment, it's paid quarterly, and again, it's calculated from your historical Medicare fee-for-service revenue. So they have a look-back period. I didn't write those down, but they look back during this period, and what you normally would have got, they're going to give you that up front, a percentage of that up front. Then when you see the patient face-to-face, you're going to bill it, and you're going to get paid, but you're going to get paid a percentage less than what you normally would have got paid. So this money is to help your practice and flexibility in how you provide medical care to your beneficiaries. So this is what you have to do when you do your Q3 reporting. So when you originally signed up for CPC Plus, you had all these options up here, and then you also had a 1090. So what that stands for is the 25%. I'm going to go to the 65. This is what we did at Amherst. So 65%. They look back at the historical data, or what they would have got paid. They gave them 65% of that up front. And then now when they bill, instead of getting the 100% of what they normally would have got, they're only going to get 35%. So I just want everyone to understand that. That's the way it goes. You get the first percentage is what you're going to get up front, which is by historical. And then the second percent is what you get when you bill. Because there was, like I said, the 1090 when you first signed up, and people thought it was the opposite, and they thought they were going to get the 90% when they bill, and it wasn't like that.
Yeah, so essentially it's a hybrid of capitated payments and fee-for-service.
Exactly. That's good. So, when you do your Q3 reporting, you have to pick how you want your payment to be when you for 2019. So that's like one of the last questions. I don't know how many people have reported yet. So the rules are you can only go up. So now 1090 is gone. No one can choose 1090 anymore. So you have to pick one of these 3 options, and the goal is to be at this 40/60 or 65/35 by the 3rd program year, which is 2020. So, meet with if you guys are office managers, just meet with your doctor to see how they want their payment. But know that eventually you're going to end up at the top levels. All right, and you can never decrease. So if you pick 40/60, you can't next year go back to 25/75. And I already checked on that, so I know that's right. If somebody wanted to go back. Does anybody have questions on that? Because that's like something I want everybody to understand. Because it's a big deal. It's your money.
Sam, can you explain why it would be a benefit to get more upfront versus waiting for?
You know what? I asked this, and they said it's just up to the doctors or the providers, the practices, how they want to get paid. I don't know. My feeling was I'd rather get a big chunk up front, and then if the patient didn't come in, I still got the money. But
You just didn't get that percentage.
yeah, but down the road, when they look at historical, it's gonna affect that anyway. So I guess I don't know. There's really no right answer. It's just how you want to get paid.
So Alan, my thought on when I was working with some of the practices were, as you're developing your care management programs, you have that lump sum of money to offset some of the work that you're doing around care management. So getting that lump sum of money allows you to offset the salary by bringing on a behavioral health person or a care manager or.
Well, that's the first care management. That's what you use that for.
But again, allowing that money to come up front could help offset some of the programs that you are trying to pull out.
Plus, while you're trying to get alternative visits so that you have unique visits to bring in money. This whole first year, I was really just trying to get the processes in place. So you take that money while you're getting everything stable in your office to find those alternative visits so everything unique is bringing money in.
Right, I just want, practices to be able to really think about, what would make most sense for them and sort of look at each practice individually and, when they're making this decision, realizing that yes, you're gonna get more upfront, but
But like you said, if you don't get those people in and get that CP service portion, it will probably ultimately impact you long-term unless you do something.
Right. They're gonna look back.
Right.
But it seems like the historical period is pretty far back. So
Pretty far
they're
back.
gonna look back for a little while. So this CPP is one of the things that this was supposed to be used for is to provide care outside of traditional office face-to-face visits. So alternative type visits, examples are telemedicine, e-visits, text messages, group visits, and follow-up visits. So at Amherst, we rolled out e-visits and follow-up visits. And those are the two I'm gonna just review with everybody now. And they're rolled out, we're doing them, and we aren't having any issues now. So any practice could probably talk to your transformation advisors and start to roll these out at your site. And it should go pretty smooth. So,
Sam, is the PFAC included in this?
nope, that's separate. But I can talk about that too. We can talk about it at the end, because that's important too. Everyone's got to do it. And according to the CPC Plus meeting, that big meeting we had, a lot of practices still haven't had their first PFAC. And that was pretty easy. I mean, I didn't want to do it, and it was a lot of work to start, but once we did it, it was awesome. So, all right, you guys, so alternative type visits. What are the benefits of having these? Okay, the first benefit is reduced ED and urgent care utilization. So by reducing this, you're gonna decrease your total cost of care, and then eventually you're gonna increase your incentives that you get from the payers. So that's a good benefit. Continuity of care, instead of your patient going to urgent care or the ER, they're gonna see their own PCP, which is gonna be good. So it's good continuity of care. Added revenue stream. At Amherst, we're not charging for e-visits. So the code is not on the fee schedule. So you're not gonna get the copay. It's not a billable service. So the only way that you could make money is to charge for it. And from reading and stuff that I've done, there are offices that if you're signed up with EasyPay, the patient can just make a payment and you charge like $20, $25 for an e-visit. And you know what? Most patients are gonna pay that. They don't have to come into your office. They don't have to take off of work. And it's probably equal to what their copay is. So I don't think you'd get a lot of pushback if you charge. But at Amherst, we just decided to start this, and we're just going to roll it out and make sure everything goes good and not charge at all. So you can make money that way, and then you can also make money because instead of scheduling these patients like for a sick visit or a follow-up visit, eventually those slots that you have like blocked off for sick and follow-up visits are going to be open slots. Like as you go into the future, you can pull those slots back and start scheduling patients for annual visits, which you're going to get paid for. Because you know the sick visits and the follow-up visits, they're capitated usually, so you're not going to get paid. So eventually down the road, after you do these, you'll start seeing the patients that need to be seen, and you're going to be able to bill something that you're going to get paid for, and you're going to help the patient. Increase patient satisfaction. This is huge because the patient doesn't have to take off work to come in. And also they're not going to pay a copay, which is good for the patient. And then again, increased access for patients that need to be seen. Again, you're not going to be bringing someone in for a sore throat or someone that has a chronic UTI. You can take care of them through an e-visit or follow-up visit. And again, you can schedule someone for an annual. Dr. Hartman at Amherst just had a guy come in, and he's a brand new patient, and he's the CEO of a company, and he had high blood pressure, but it was controlled. So he saw the patient, and you know the patient's not going to come back. He's too busy to go to the doctor. And so Dr. Hartman said before the patient left, if you sign up for our portal, I can send you a follow-up visit. You can answer all the questions, send me all the information, and I can follow up with you through the portal. So that's excellent, because you know what? The patient probably would never came back for that follow-up visit. So now you're keeping in contact with the patient and you're taking care of them, and it's only taking you a couple minutes. So that's a good benefit.
Sam, would this be something that would be really appropriate in nurses triaging and a patient is calling and maybe think that they have something wrong, that they need to be seen, but the nurse is triaging it is not maybe to the point where they need to actually physically come in for a sick visit, but maybe the physician can call back a
So-
meeting visit?
So what I'm gonna get to, coming up, is at Amherst now, if a patient calls, which I'll show you all the things we do e-visits for, like a sore throat or UTI or whatever, if a patient calls with any of those symptoms, they're offering them the e-visit right when the patient calls. So then if the patient's on the portal, they can go on the portal and do the visit and send it to the doctor. And at Amherst, I would say I've never worked in a practice like this. All the doctors, all their boxes and bins that they work are all caught up. So they're going in after every single patient and doing all their triages and their to-dos. So, you know what, the patient's gonna fill that out, and I'm gonna bet within an hour, they're gonna get back from the doctor, which is, you know, it's gonna take you longer to come in and wait in the waiting room and get roomed and all that. So, watch, now you're gonna get swamped and overloaded and.
Sam, let's talk about the first
Yep.
ED urgent care utilization. Is there a target we have to reach per 1,000 patients?
You know what, each payer has their own, you know what, it says the threshold, I don't know what the thresholds are, I'm just being honest. I know they're in that, report that you get, the, practice
Well, they
report.
tell us how many, what is the utilization?
Right.
ED or how many patients have been hospitalized, they tell us. But what are they looking for, you know, per 1,000 patients? Like CPC has got some guidelines.
Right,
That
yeah,
we have
yeah.
to meet some, but I don't know about CPC.
The dentistry, what they're doing is they're looking for the repeat offenders. You know, the person that keeps going, you wanna get that person, pull that person in. Why are they going in? Are they really going because they have an issue, or is it because they wanna talk to someone?
Yeah, I know for CPC, the patient is going to see urgent care more than 2 times a month or something like that. Right? But I don't know about CPC, what is the target? They give us a comparison with others.
Right.
Right.
What is the legal comparison? Yeah.
You know what, I could find that out and then follow up with everybody.
When you looked at that,
Right.
they're looking at trending, so they're looking at the number of
Yes, I think
people,
that is probably the trending.
the trending is.
Jasmine, did anyone answer that from CPC Plus? No? I'll find out, Dr. Schrader. I'll follow up with you. All right, so first we're gonna start up with follow-up visits, but the difference between the two are follow-up visits are for chronic conditions and e-visits are gonna be for something that's acute. And then also follow-up visits, the provider generates, and it's gonna send it out to the patient. And then e-visits, the patient's gonna generate, because they're gonna log onto the portal and then contact the doctor. So that's the difference between the two. So for follow-up visits, the follow-up visits that we created, and the way we created them was I just went into a triage book and then just listed all the questions that a nurse would ask, or not, when they triage a patient. I gave it to him, they went through providers with all the questions, deleted some, added some. We did this a couple times until we came up with a final list of questions, and then that's what we used for the follow-up visit. When you roll this out in your practice, your doctors, medic would be the way I wanted it. We make changes, I just put take it in medic. So, then you can, or Cheryl, you guys can take it to your providers, they can look at the question and change it any way they want. And then that's what you're going to submit to medic, and that's what we push out to the patient. So that's all, you know, be changing. So the follow-up visits that we have, we just started out with a few, we just kept adding them. Hopefully we're done. We got nominated as hypertension, constipation, diabetes, diarrhea. And then we just, last week or 2 weeks ago, rolled out this miscellaneous one, which is just, miscellaneous, but it isn't one of these other ones. You're just gonna send it out to the patient, just to follow up with them, just to check on them. So they don't have to come in.
What kind of questions are miscellaneous?
I'm gonna go to that. All right. So in your handouts, there's a process. Flow sheet. And I just want to go through this so everyone understands.
That didn't get printed out the right way, so I will email it to everybody.
Oh, you did? All right, so then I'll just.
It didn't print out, like, it was just super small.
That's right. So I'm just gonna go through it. I just want to show everybody how easy it is. Norma, you need handouts? You guys did me a favor coming in. All right, so what happens is the patient comes in, say for hypertension, and the doctor's seeing them. Instead of the patient coming in, like usually you'll have them follow up in 3 months, 6 months, or whatever, you're going to tell the patient, have them sign up for the portal if they're not, or tell them they're going to get a portal message. And instead of coming in and making an appointment, you're going to push out this form to them in that time frame, so they don't have to come in and have a face-to-face visit. So when the doctor's in the know, they're going to hit the portal follow-up form. Suzanne, thank you. Suzanne created this. It'll all have to be created for everybody. It's a bookmark, and then that bookmark, when the doctor clicks it, it automatically creates a to-do. Automatically. And this is the to-do. These 3 items automatically populate and pull into the to-do. So the doctor doesn't have to do any of that. All the doctor's going to do is, or the provider, is click what follow-up visit, miscellaneous is missing, but they're going to click what follow-up visit they want, and then click down here when they want the follow-up visit to go to the patient, 3 months, 6 months, a couple weeks, whatever you want. And then they're just going to go out of this, close out of it, and it's going to go to whoever you sign those to-dos to. At Amherst, we send them to reception, so it goes to the front-end staff. So that's all the doctor has to do. You're going to tell the patient, they're going to get a portal form in this amount of time. You're going to click the bookmark, this auto-populates, and you're just going to pick what you want sent to the patient, and then it's going to go to the front-end staff. You're done. So for doctors, it's not really a lot of work, so that's good for you guys. So then what's going to happen is that to-do is going to go to the front-end staff. They're going to take the date, and they're going to date it out to when the follow-up visit's supposed to be sent to the patient. So they just redate it. So then, say it's 3 months. It'll come back up in 3 months, the to-do, and they're going to push the form out to the patient. This is all they have to do to push the form out. They're just going to go into the patient's chart. Under the patient portal section, they're going to click patient forms. They're going to click on the form that they want sent to the patient. What else? That's it. Then you're going to get an alert, and it's going to tell you that the patient's going to get an email, which that's what you want them to do, and you're just going to click yes. And so that form is going to get pushed out to the patient. The patient will get an email and tell them that they have something new on their portal. Then they're going to go onto the portal and complete the questionnaire. In your handouts is a list of, I just gave 2 examples, blood pressure and diabetes. It just says follow-up. These are the questions that we're asking the patients. You guys can just look at those. And we have these for each one of those conditions that I showed you before. And again, if you guys roll this out, we'll share it with you guys and you just tweak it the way you want it. But this is an example of the blood pressure and diabetes. And then I also included one for the miscellaneous, so you guys can see.
Is it possible to, instead of sending to the reception, create a date when this message can go straight to the patient bypassing the reception?
The reason we didn't do that is because we want to make sure the patient, we wanted to track it to make sure the patient completed it. Because you didn't want anyone to get lost in the shuffle. So the next part of the process is, because we thought of that, but we want the front end staff, when after it gets pushed out, they're going to redate the to-do for a week, and then they're going to go back in a week to see if the patient completed it. If they did, they're going to close it out. If they didn't, they're going to call the patient. So that's why we did the to-do. So you're just going to keep following up. It seems like most patients end up having to get called. I didn't want that to be my answer, but that's what they told me. So like 1 call, and then the patient completes it. Say it again?
Maybe they won't need to be called next time, maybe they just need to get used to it.
Right. And are they checking, you don't know, do they check their email to know that they got a portal message? Because in 3 months you forget that you were supposed to do that.
Right.
So,
If they don't respond, providers notified. If they don't respond, after you call.
Yeah, we get notified. We get it.
yeah, when the patient, what the patient will do is they'll just complete the form, hit submit, and it goes right to the doctor. And then you guys,
And if they don't do it, it goes to the doctor.
if they don't do it, nothing happens. The form is still on the patient portal, and the staff can see that they didn't complete it, and then they just call them and just nag them to.
So it's the staff's responsibility to follow up with the patient before a provider is actually notified.
Right.
Correct. Yeah, we're trying not to bother you guys.
But if they don't respond, we should be.
Yes. Yeah. If we keep calling, if they keep calling them a couple times and they're not responding, yeah, we won't.
We have a
Sorry.
system in place right now with, if there's an unread portal message or triggered.
Yep.
Thing. So we would know if the portal hasn't been opened. Whoever sent it, where we are.
Yeah, that's how you,
Oh, sorry.
no, that's how you realize that they haven't seen it, is an unread portal message?
No, we
Or
didn't.
that
We wanna, no, we had it come to a to-do,
Right,
so they can keep track of it and keep on top of it.
so if they don't do it, then they have, so they'll like change the date of the to-do again? Is that what?
Yes.
Okay,
So you'll
like
do
in
it
a week
for
or
a week.
whatever?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. The unread portal messages, I get, we have those at Amherst too.
Yeah.
But you set the time for, like, if the patient doesn't open it in 3 weeks, we just wanted to do it quicker to the time that it was due, like a week. That's why we went to the 2 weeks. We have that too, and that's really good as you catch everybody that's not opening up their stuff. So, but that was the reason why we did it this way. I don't know what yours look like. I don't even know what yours just said it, but it's
I don't know.
like
what
a few
else
weeks
is
out that if
Yeah.
they don't open it, you don't want to wait that long to contact the patient. But that is another way, really, you can do it. Yeah.
So Sam, what happens if you push out like an e-visit or follow-up with the patient is not signed up on the portal? Did Amherst have to go through a process of signing people up?
You wouldn't be able to push it out if they're not on the portal.
We have to get.
They can't click e-visit if they're not on the portal, and you can't send it if they're not on the portal.
Motivation for people to sign up.
Right. So, all right, so now we're gonna go to, so that's follow-up visits. So the patient comes in, they have a condition that's pretty much controlled. Instead of having them come back, you just push this form out if they're on the portal, they answer it, it comes to the doctor, and you got your follow-up with the patient. Does anyone have questions on that?
Actually, there's one little caveat.
Yep.
Actually, when the patient responds, it goes to Amanda and then she routes it to the doctor.
Remember, because we have that issue.
Yeah, I'm gonna, that's like,
Just a small.
You're right,
little
you're right, yeah,
detail,
yeah.
But it's just.
that's for billing.
But
That's-
it's not that big of a
Huh?
lift. It's not that big of a lift.
Oh, so you can send it to the correct doctor, right? Okay.
But it's not that big of a deal.
Okay.
Just.
It's because you have a provider that leaves for the winter, so what was happening is even though he left for the winter, he was seeing these forms under his own name, though a different provider was having it pushed out. So what the system does is it looks at what providers assigned to that patient in the demographic screen, and it comes back to that provider. If you don't have that situation, it might not apply to you, so what they were having, and this doctor was addressing this visit instead of realizing like he hadn't seen the patient and the provider that saw the last had orders.
So what happens is they go to Amanda, and then she puts on the doctor, assigns it to the doctor, then send it out, and it goes back to the right doctor. But not everyone's gonna have to do
That's like
that.
having a doctor retire, so.
That's like something that gets tweaked individually, depending on your office. So, all right, so now it's e-visits.
This will expedite the
He was the first one to do it, so.
And it took us a while to figure that out. So, thanks, Suzanne and Amanda, and Norma. All right, so now we're gonna do e-visits. Again, these are patient-generated. These are, I'll show you the process of it, but these are the conditions that a patient can do an e-visit. Rash, sore throat, low back pain, headache, pink eye, cold or cough, and then a UTI, and there's different ones for male and female. For pink eye and rash, the patient's able to attach pictures. And those are the ones we've been getting at Amherst. And I can't remember how we labeled it, but down at the bottom of the visit, it says you can attach pictures. And for Dr. Hartman, we didn't want any boobs or private. So we wrote that some way that so the patient doesn't send them that stuff if he doesn't want to see it. So, but the patients that I saw, you know, that had rashes on their arm and stuff, they attached the pictures when they came over. The doctor could. You had them too, right, Dr. Shree?
Sam, actually, he just rolled in the e-visits and he was coaching me how to do this. And within 1 hour, we had 2 patients.
They come, yeah.
And both were rash.
And they attached pictures. And how long did it take you to do that?
Less than 2 minutes.
So, and,
Still learning.
right. So,
Still learning is 1 minute.
so instead of that patient having to call your office, the staff has to schedule the patient. The patient's got to drive in, sit in the waiting room. You have to check them in, then you have to move them, and then you got the provider. The visit was done in it could be done in a minute.
And there's always a question of these elderly folks who never use it. One of the patients was 80 years of age, and he used it. And she was so happy. He was all the way. We can get this, and he's coming.
So it's good. And you know what? Not everyone's going to use it. That's fine. But if you can get some people. And like I said, e-visits, you guys can decide, from what I understand, if you want to charge for them. We chose not to do that. We don't have easy pay on the portal, and the providers decided not to charge. Just because we want to get people used to it and get it going and making sure it's working right. You can't for Medicare fee for service, but the other people, other payers, you can. Because this is included in your CPC plus payment. So those people you couldn't charge for.
I thought it was included in IH and.
Well, you can't charge it. You're charging the patient for the service. You're not gonna bill them.
Under the global payment, a lot of things.
Actually, the contract with IHA specifies that you cannot charge the patient any other.
For IHA it does?
Right.
Okay. But some payers, they are, I don't know the individual contracts, but there are people that are charged for these.
Some groups are charging. I don't know how they do it, but they are charging.
Yeah.
Can you repeat the questions when someone asks a question?
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So to do an e-visit, this is all the patient does. They're going to log on to the portal, and then this little e-visit here, they're going to click on that. And I can outline that. We can't bold it, move it, or make it bigger. There's nothing I can do. So patients click on that, and they're gonna. After they do that, they're gonna get this screen, and this is you can write whatever you want in this message to the patient. This is just the meta. We use the meta one that we have. We just wanted to make sure patients knew that the response time should be less than 24 hour, but could take 72 hours. I mean, it's kind of holidays. Want them to know you're not going to get. You know what? Most likely are going to get live too quick, but just in case, e-visit, not message or urgent issues, and call 911 if you have a medical emergency. So, like I said, you guys can make this message whatever you want it to be, and this is the one we just used at Amherst. Then all the patient's going to do is pick their doctor, and then pick the symptom, and then click next, and then they're going to get brought to the question. So we have it set up in Amherst. This is an option you have a choice of. They can only do an e-visit with a provider agency. So Dr. Shriek's patient can't pick Dr. Barletta and send him an e-visit. It won't work. It won't go through. And if you guys look, these sheets that say meta, these are the questions. I did one for rash and one for UTI for the male. These are the questions that are in our system.
The questions for the e-visits don't appear in your meta system because it's generated by the patient, so that's why these forms, but the follow-up visits are in your system because they're generated by you.
Patients being patient, because they put a symptom in there that exists on the list, what happened? Session rates go up.
No, you know what, they won't be able to pick it, it's up and drop down, so they can only pick those symptoms.
If you want
You know
to
some
do
of them
more
are doing
programs, you can put them through and have them programmed.
So patients can't ignore them.
Nope, and when it go forward. So, and you know what, I tried it, it wouldn't even work if the doctor, if you didn't see that doctor, it wouldn't go through, it said you're not able to do an e-visit. But that's a setting that you guys do with MedEd separately, or Suzanne.
So, can patients pick more than one symptom? Or would that create two different?
I don't know that, Suzanne, can they pick more than one symptom? I think you would have to do two e-visits,
Yeah,
right?
you have to come back through and then pick.
Do another one, yeah, because it wouldn't bring up the question.
Yeah. Because it's a questionnaire.
You know what, if you have two, you need to come into the office. So, yeah. All right, so, at Amherst, what we were doing is, patients aren't going to know about e-visits or the follow-up visits unless you communicate it to them. So the follow-up visits, we pretty much have the staff and the providers talking to the patients about. But for e-visits, if you have patient point, which I recommend, you can create any slide you want. Put it up on that patient waiting room, and the patients are going to see it while they're waiting to get called back in the room. So this is one that I just made up myself, and I put on there, and the patients see it. So, like, I really promote patient point because I've made up my own slides. You know, Dr. Bartlett and Sharif are accepting new patients with their pictures. I talked about colonoscopies and the importance of getting them mammograms, what their percentages are of patients that have had it done, that we have flu shots available, you know, ask the provider for your flu shot. What else did I do something on? I think that's it. But I mean, you can create slides, and it's really easy, and tell your patients whatever you want to see, you know, which hopefully will help their compliance. So I also made up, it's in your handout, this sheet is about e-visits and explains what they are. It's pretty much a slide on a piece of paper. And we have this in the waiting room. So the staff, they give their patients the letter of signing up for the portal. They tell them that, you know, e-visits are available, and that's, you know, what it's about. And it's there for patients just to pick up and go to while they're in the waiting room. Yes, it is. And we're working on fixing it so it stands out more. But it is on there too. Yep. All right, so Amanda, I might need help with some of this. All right, so what we wanted to do was be able to run reports just so we know in the office how many of these visits are we doing. So Amanda called MedEd, and the codes are 99444 for a doctor, and then the 969 for a mid-level. But when you send those to the payers, you're not going to know which one's which, so we had to figure out a way to label them so you know how many e-visits and how many follow-up visits you're doing. So Amanda talked to MedEd, and they are able to attach CPT house codes to both of those. So you have a follow-up visit and an e-visit, and those codes are linked to that house code on the back end, right? I got it.
Yeah, for nurse practitioners or PAs, it's follow-up 2, and then for physicians, it's follow-up.
Okay, so that's it. Okay. And then they're linked to the CPT codes. When you send these to the payers, you're only going to send the CPT code, not the house code, or it's going to get denied and sent back. And the reason we're sending these to the payers is so you can track your utilization, and you're showing them this work that you're doing. So, and also when you're doing it, you're sending and you're updating your diagnosis codes and stuff, and changing, updating our records. Run this report, you're just gonna run a transaction report, and then it's a date you visit, and then date and follow visit.
Sam, there's a question. Can an e-visit be answered by a nurse, or does it have to be their PC?
It goes right to the doctor. It's a visit. No, it's got to go to the doctor.
Okay.
Or the nurse practitioner. So at Amherst, this is a couple weeks late. Someone had to get mayor here and he couldn't run mayor pressure. So as of a couple weeks ago, Amherst is 91 calls. And 9 visits, but that 9 is a lot higher now. You're starting to get a lot of them. Dr. Hartman came to me the other day and had a couple just that day. So it's the word's starting to get out there that we have them. Oh, you look like you were going to say something. All right, so that's e-visits. Anybody have any questions on those?
Are you able to track, or have you tracked it all to see the impact on opening up slots?
Nope, we just rolled this out the end of August.
Okay.
So what I'm thinking is most places, most practices have those open slots for patients that call that day, same day visits. Down the road, like a couple months down the road, when you see that those slots aren't being utilized, you'll be able to pull them back and then use them for scheduled patients. But it's going to take you a little while.
That's a very good question. What projection advantage to the practice to increase the capacity?
Exactly.
Right. So
You could do a comparison by what we saw last year.
Absolutely.
And our schedule for the you just need a full month to do that.
Yeah, because it's going to open you up for annual well visits, which is going to increase your revenue because there's still cardiac applications. So we would.
right, but I'm thinking you don't want to pull those back until you see that.
Well, not yet.
they're-
Yeah,
And you know what? And in the meantime, you got those open slots on. Gives you time to do your e-visits and your follow-up visits in between patients. So no questions on that. So now I just want to go through just some quick little updates. The Q3 reporting is due for CPC Plus. It was from September 25th to 10/13. And on Monday, on CPC Plus Connect, they said only 4% of the practices have a report, which that's pretty low. Who's have you guys reported? No.
We're working.
You guys Okay, all right, so you're good. If you guys need help, just ask anybody who help. Ask your transformation advisor. We have that list of questions that they're gonna ask. All you can do is just print that out, fill it out, fill in the numbers, run your reports, and then you just log online and report out. It's really, it's not hard. It's really easy. Like it took me for Amber, it took me 20 minutes to go online and do it after I answered the questions. So if anybody needs help with that, reach out to us. Also update your practice rosters at Amherst. They added a provider card, and I forgot we have to add them to the roster to give you credit for that provider, because they're not going to know who's assigned to your practice. So it's added in. And also at the end of when you're reporting for Q3, again, you're going to have to pick up your percentage you're entitled to. What you want for CPC payment. And then you also have to update your IT help tab. To do that, you go under your practice information, and then you go underneath that, you go to the end, and there's a health IT tab. That's what you're going to click on, and you have to verify all the information. In your packets, there is two health IT handouts. One's in version 22, one's in version 23. It depends on what version you are on that. But these are all the answers you're going to fill out. So all you have to do is just go on there and copy the share one for version 2020, I did for 2023. The one thing that I made a mistake on was version 2023. Ask you a question. It says select your CPC plus ECQM reporting mechanism for the current performance period. I didn't answer that because we didn't report out everything for our performance. I thought that was for the people that started in 2017. And then Dr. Trick got an email saying that ours wasn't complete, and I thought that was complete. So you have to fill that out if you report it performance or not. So I did the attestation via CPC Plus records portal. That's it. And it's on. I filled it out. So again, I just didn't answer that because it didn't sound like we were supposed to, but you have to. Yes. You know what? You should be doing that like any changes in your practice, but you just forget to do it.
There's changes every day.
So the only thing we have to change on that provider, our providers and their company, and then you would change staff, like any staff that you have that have an FSC report. That's all about. It's not your thing. No, they assign that. That's separate. This is just people that have access to your report. You don't want to have access to that. That's it. And then, all right. And the last slide is just so everybody knows your fourth quarter payment you'll get at the end of the month. So that's good news. Anything else?
The mixed reporting, Sam, for the practices that were an ACL and had that problem, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I just don't know who it is, but what happened at Amherst was anybody that was in the ACO and then it got stopped when we started CPC Plus. If you were in, if you're in CPC Plus, you'll remember that your first checks were only for small amounts, and you didn't really have that many beneficiaries attributed to your site. What happened was the reporting, I guess, from CPC Plus to their reports didn't reflect all the patients that were attributed to the ACO. So now those patients that were attributed to the ACO are now yours. So you should get credit for them. So what they did at CPC Plus was they made an adjustment and everyone got second checks to balance it out. So now all those patients that were part of the ACO and the ACO got credit for them, now your practice is getting credit for them. So what happened was CMS, and I learned this from CMP, it was a letter that Norma got that she shared with me. You have to be considered a qualified provider in order to have CPC Plus count and not have to report MIPS. So what happened was CMS still has all the numbers, the original numbers that were low, that are attributed to the practices. So it shows that you're not a qualified provider. So what happens is now you're going to have to report MIPS. You can't count CPC Plus. So what CMS, or what Catholic Medical Partners did was, anyone that was affected, they sent a letter to, and they asked you to fill out this form and write into CMS and let them know that those numbers are not right. You really are, like, for Amherst, the percentage that they use for qualified provider was 7%. And really, you're 87%. It's because they didn't have all those patients attributed to the practice. So I had to put in this whole form to CMS, and they're going to look into it. Well, I did that a month ago, and have not heard anything. I've called, and no one will help me. Then when we were at CPC Plus, the big regional meeting, I met with, I think her name's Angela or somebody from CMS, and she's part of this region. I went up to her and explained the whole problem to her. She told me to email her all the information, and she was going to help move the ticket along. And I emailed her twice, and she's not even getting back to me. So there's no one that's really helping us. So the only thing we can do is everyone goes, if this is affecting and you have to have the members still George a lot more and just do it so it shows that it's an issue. So far, the only ones that I know that it is Amherst and Marcello.
Dr. Robinson's office also, he needs to do it, and then.
Yes, no one's doing it. So what's going to happen is if you don't do this, you're not considered a qualified provider. You're going to have to report out now. Why do that when you're already here?
But if you are CMP, but it didn't, your attribution was correct.
You don't have to.
Correct, okay.
If Catholic Medical Partners send you this packet with all the information, You need to do it, don't ignore it.
As a qualified provider, number of patients you have attributed to you?
Yes.
Okay.
And I don't know what the magic number is, no one said that.
CMP was supposed to be reporting everyone's visits for 2017. So why would you wouldn't report for 2018 if there's a CPC plus?
What I'm saying is you're not at 405.
But you're not
So you're gonna have,
Are they going to pull back CPC plus?
I have no idea what's gonna happen. All I know is Catholic Medical Partner sent this. They want everyone to contact CMS to update it. So you are considered a qualified provider and to straighten it out so you don't have to
We
do
don't
it.
want the retract funds or reduce funds for next year. We want to make sure it's addressed, and if nothing else, you have record of it that you were trying to address it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, Amber was covered. I put in my ticket. I have emails to that Angela at CMS, and I just can't get anyone to respond. But I didn't know what we were supposed to do, so I can't do anything else.
But so if we got that situation, 80 are.
So you're fine. You're good. Nope. You're good. You didn't get that letter. You didn't get anything from Catholic Medical Partner organization. Right. You're safe. Does anyone have any questions? And like I said, whoever wants to roll this stuff out now, I have all the forms. You just talk to our transformation advisor, care manager. You can roll these out now because I think everything's running pretty smooth. Good? All right. Thanks,
Yeah, I know. So, I'm doing like that. Right. Yeah. But then I was already.